Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Has anyone heard of Sakil Entil, or whatever his bloody name is? Another unpronounceable name for the most part. Another Welsh choir boy, if you will. Now, this person will not appear in the mainstream media, I suspect, as he is obviously a very English person, obvious sarcasm, and he was recently found in his home producing weapons and explosives. Yeah, I wonder why we won't hear this on the mainstream media. Could it be the fact that the mainstream media are too busy trying to out people who are far right? Well, it's ironic, isn't it? Because most of the people that are actually far right actually come from a certain demographic of people, a certain religion of peace. But the media are as capable of reporting on that as Keir the traitor Starmer is of telling the truth. But oddly enough, that's not what this video is about. This video is basically going to be about Rupert Lowe, Ben Habib, Howard Cox. I basically, if I haven't mentioned it already, say that these people, they should be joining UKIP. Because I can assure you of this much. Nick Tenconi won't let you down. Nick Tenconi won't stab you in the back. And if I become an MP, because that is a very real possibility right now, I can guarantee you I won't be stabbing you in the back, because I have principles. But apparently, Nigel Farage has released the full investigation into Rupert Lowe, and I don't frankly believe a fucking word of it. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be calling him that anymore. I should be calling him Nigel El-Faraji, because he has effectively become Zia Yusuf's lapdog. He has effectively become another toy for the religion of peace. But it breaks my heart to think that there are still people who think reform are the only option we have. Reform are the only people who can beat the uni-party. Well, I put this question to you. If reform has effectively become part of the uni-party, what is the point of them beating them? That's like when the UK's strongest man went to Karen's and literally got, I think, the beauty contest or whatever. And he was told, you know what you've won? Fuck all. That's basically what happened. I can't remember if his name's Eddie Hall or something. He'll probably kill me because I haven't remembered his name. But if they've basically joined the uni-party, then what we're seeing is merely pantomime. I might as well have stood in one spot for 8 hours and then declared myself the winner. And then I realised, oh wait, that was fucking pointless, wasn't it? And yes, I do accept if I want to be an MP, I'm going to have to tone down the swearing to next to none, because obviously the mainstream media, they're going to pick that apart. I mean, let's face it, that's about all they could pick apart, quite frankly, as most of the time the mainstream media have about as much grip on the truth as I have of a rocket. And frankly, I don't really give a shit if the mainstream media think, oh, I swear like a sailor. Just give me a cap and a uniform and there you go. Anyway, I don't care if they think I swear like a sailor, because all that matters is whether or not you tell the truth. All that matters is that you do your stuff based on facts rather than fiction or opinion. And what we know is that foreign nationals are substantially more likely to be convicted of certain crimes than British nationals. What we know is that a certain religion of peace has basically come over to this country, and hell, Nick Tenconi, which is actually, this interview is actually on the public domain, by the way, if you search it up. Nick Tenconi actually interviewed somebody from the religion of peace who is a community leader. And basically, this community leader said, straight from the horse's mouth, no assimilation. So to put that into perspective for you, the religion of peace that has come over here, which any other person worth their salt would integrate and assimilate with society. The religion of peace has no interest of doing that. They're here to spread the caliphate, and nothing is going to get in the way of that for them. Now, that's not to say that we can't stop them, because obviously we have the capacity to. They're still a minority, the religion of peace. But give it 5, 10, 20 years, and they will become a majority. And then we will have a problem. But if one of their own damn community leaders is coming out and saying, we will not integrate with England, then what purpose have these wankers got here? Think about it. If they are stroke number one, if they are categorically saying they will not integrate, then what purpose has Islam got here? But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. And I'm probably going to need to look up this thing as well, because obviously it will help educate me as well. Because obviously, I'm one of the indigenous Brits. I need to keep myself clued up. And I need to make sure that I am ready, come what may, for the off chance that if I do go through the vetting process of becoming an MP, which also means massive problem for the establishment. Anyway, if I become an MP, I need to make sure that I have all my defences locked down. And as I said, while they may not be able to hold a grasp on the truth, what these guys are very good at is smear tactics and trying to label people. Well, at this point, I think it's safe to say a lot of us are going to be saying, well, you know what? You call us what you want. We don't care. We'll wear that badge. If all these guys are capable of doing is throwing out name tags, then their argument has about as much substance as a wet piece of toilet paper. It does seem to me, though, that maybe Rupert Lowe, and I am being a little bit of devil's advocate here, I do think that Rupert Lowe, oh look, there's some more two-tier police. It does feel to me like Rupert Lowe is actually degrading himself, shall we say, because he's lowering himself to the levels of reform. He is lowering himself to what they are doing, which is smearing and wasting time with replies when it's clear that that shit's not going to work. At this point, you've already written to Nigel the phony Farage or Nigel El Farashi. At this point, if he's not willing to make change, and if you're already pressing for legal action, just leave it there. Just leave it there, Rupert Lowe, because you're only harming your defence. And here's the thing, and I might dare to say this actually, I think Nigel Farage is stupid for what he's done. And the way I look at that is you don't argue with stupid people, Rupert, because they'll drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. That is, they're more experienced in being stupid. You can do better, Rupert Lowe. You can do much better than associate with people who stab you in the back and are about as interested in saving this country as I am of going on an all-salad diet. I must admit, the mere idea that I could potentially be UKIP's standing MP in Norwich, I must admit there's a little bit of... it does intimidate me a little bit, because it's obviously a lot of pressure. It's a lot of responsibility. And considering my political inexperience, I think that could go against me. Yes, I am picking apart my own reasons for standing for being an MP. But the way I see it is, I have always had one strength in life, and that is no matter what job I've gone for, is that I always seem to pick up things naturally quickly. Especially when it comes down to fast food. You should see how quick I pick up the burgers. Anyway, I always seem to pick up things naturally quickly. So I think I'd be able to pick up some of the aspects of the political side of doing jobs on that side very quickly. And I think that could be very much favourable for my position if I went to go up and serve as an MP. It would be really nice as well. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to give up all of the, 94 per annum of being an MP, because I obviously need to live. So, I think I may have said this on my last video or the video before, although I can't remember off the top of my head. But I'm happy to accept, I don't know, 40, 45k. I'm more than content with that shit. I mean, right now, I'm barely on, 24, 25? So you can imagine what having nearly double that salary is going to do for me, quite frankly. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, although sometimes I feel like I'm on them. And the only real issue I had is the one that I'm currently dealing with, which is the gambling. Like, that kind of money would see me very comfortably. And I would willingly give the other, 49, 50k, whatever it is. I'm more than willing to give it to, a charity or something. Or to people who genuinely need it. Whereas Keir the traitor Starmer, we already know where he prefers to give his money. Over off to Terry's over in Syria, or to the Ukraine to continue funding World War III. I wonder if Nigel Farage has ever given some of that money away, or sorry, Nigel El-Faraji has given some of that money away to people who need it. Because I'm pretty sure he doesn't need 94 grand or 95 a year to basically lavish it up. Like, that's the thing. A lot of these politicians, they don't serve because they have an interest in serving the British people. They become an MP because it gets them the paper. And I'm not talking about my bus ticket. I'm talking it gets them the green queens, the purple queens, whatever you want to call them, the red queens. Fancy a redhead. Anyway, they prefer to get their hands on money rather than actually get a hold of people's trust and actually hold on to it and do their job as an MP. We need to give British people the motivation to vote again, because what's killing our country right now is apathy, and in particular libertarian and liberal apathy. And by voting for reform, you are effectively voting for libertarian apathy, because yes, they may be able to challenge the mainstream parties, but here's the thing: if reform have effectively joined the uni-party, then defeating the uni-party, or at least a section of it, it's pointless, because you're still getting the uni-party. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Does that term ring any bells? That's like putting two John Smiths against each other. One comes out the winner, and the winner is John Smith. Nothing fucking changes. That is why I say we need to vote an alternative, dare I say it, a radical party. And UKIP, I think, with Nick Tenconi, is intending to be a radical party. One that puts their foot down. One that says we will not tolerate this so-called religion of peace refusing to integrate with society and wanting to turn our country into a shithole. They plan to deal with this issue of immigration very seriously. When have the mainstream politicians actually taken immigration seriously? Oh, they'll say, oh, we'll tackle immigration, but they only do it because they want to say what you want to hear, but not actually do it. Nick Tenconi has every intention of taking out the trash, metaphorically speaking. Anyone that's come over here illegally, and so far we're counting at least 1.2 million illegals that we know about, that's not including the ones we don't know about. 1.2 million illegals need to be deported, and he says he will do it no matter how difficult it is. Can you name one other politician that's got the balls, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, to be able to do that? I bet you won't. Because Nigel El-Faraji has already made it quite clear he is not in favour of mass deportations. He's already made it quite clear that he has no interest in challenging the religion of peace, which is about as peaceful as bonfire night. Nigel, as I said in my last video, he's fueled by money, fame and titles. Nothing more. He is a charlatan. He is doing it for show, and he is doing it for personal gain. Would I stand to gain something for being an MP? Yes, I would. But you know what? I know where my bloody principles are. And heaven permit it, I'll do everything I can to serve the people. And I know there's one... oh God, I'm losing my voice already. No, I'm alright. Please, I'm alright. Anyway, I know there's one particular subscriber who's given me a lot of... She's given me an absolute bollocking for my religious blasphemy. Thank you. The way to look at it is this political battleground, the left are like circling piranhas. They are waiting for any opportunity for you to show weakness, and then they'll latch on to you once they smell blood in the water. They will latch on and they will never let go. That's the thing. You can't compromise with lefties. You cannot. It's like trying to argue with a grizzly bear that you're not a tasty snack. If they try to say, well, what do you think the other people are going to say about it? Literally, your response should be, I don't care, because that's what it boils down to. For example, when Liam Tufts, sorry I called you Lee, goddammit. Anyway, Liam Tufts on, what is his podcast, The Dozen? I believe that's what it's called, if I recall correctly. When he asked Nick Tenconi, what do you think they're going to think about you saying you want to stroke number 2, ban the call to prayer. What do you think Nick stroke number 3, Nick Tenconi said? God, that's got to be a record. 2 strokes in, 10 seconds? Christ almighty. I bet that'll be another contesting point as well. Look at you, you've had more strokes than the 400-metre swimmers. What do you think Mike's going to make of it as well? He'll be saying what he said last time I met him. You've been stroking a lot. Yes, I have been having a stroke too many times. But Nick Tenconi basically said, as far as the Islamic call to prayer being banned, I don't care. Because he does say something that I absolutely 100% agree with. And that is, we've been too kind. We have been far too kind. We may as well have been a boxing bag and had the word prat put on top of it. Because that's what we've been. We have been a bunch of gullible prats pandering to the left and pandering to woke ideologues and the EU and every other country. Let's get out of this bloody thing. Sorry, no grey hoodie, as that thing is a little dirty and I do need to get that washed. I must admit, I never saw myself as a veggie kind of person. I fancy something hearty. How about this thing? The harissa and chickpea, or is it, sorry, butternut and chicken, no, butternut and chickpea pie. I can't read this thing through this, just whatever. I think that's what I'm having tonight. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make as far as what's going on is concerned is Nick Tenconi has his policies and he just doesn't give a damn about what other people think. And that is the way a leader should be. Yes, you are supposed to have the majority of the people on your side. However, he also understands that between right and left, not everyone is going to join you in the centre. Not everyone is going to share your beliefs. Not everyone is going to agree that shutting off the borders and kicking out illegals is the best approach for all this. Even if, in my humble opinion, they're fundamentally wrong. The left is never going to be happy, though, with whatever we want to do. Because obviously, they see us as the enemy. They see us as far right. They see us as thugs. They see us as racist, fascist, insert name tag here. Hang on, let me go get a box of all the insults. Right, let's see what we got in here. Fat fuck. Racist. Thug. Oh, that feels so much better. Oh, and my foot's stuck. This gives me serious vibes for back during the day when I tried to do the same thing with a bin at one of my old residences and I ended up falling out the fucking bin. I swear to God. But that's basically what I think of all those shills in the left. I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. And that's how Nick... Stroke number 4. How Nick Tenconi sees it. The way I look at it, and yes, I did actually burst one of them, for fuck's sake. But what we're going to do is what I'm about to do with these wankers. I'm going to mop the floor with them. And probably cause even more of a mess, but who cares? I'll have fun while I'm doing it. Oh, God, this is going to be such a pain in the arse. But the bottom line is, we can't care about what the left are going to do, because they don't give a shit about us. They don't care if importing the third world is massively detrimental to the country. They'll do it, because that's part of their agenda. It is the great white replacement. It is effectively, they are trying to replace our Christian communities with third world shitholes. They are trying to replace us with the people of the so-called religion of peace, with communists, with Marxists, with liberals. That is going to be a massive detriment to this country. Nick Tenconi sees that. Nigel El-Faraji does not. Why waste time voting for what is effectively uni-party 2.0 when you can actually use that vote to get real change? Think about it. And let me tell you something else as well. With Rupert Lowe, who used to be the Great Yarmouth he still is actually MP for Great Yarmouth. I actually used to go there a lot with my granddad. Let me tell you a little story. So, back in the day, I know I have I still have it technically. You can't really say it's gone because you've still got to fight the urge. But my gambling was not as temperamental, shall we say, as what it was during the last few years that I've lived on this earth. But back in the day, there would be times, maybe every fortnight, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever, where my granddad would end up saying, do you want to go to Yarmouth? Do you want to go to Hemsby? Do you want to go to Hunstanton? Obviously, Great Yarmouth being a prominent one. And what we would do is, Granddad was a very strict guy, God rest his soul. He always cared about your money. He wanted the best for you, even if he was a bit of an arse the way he did it. But he made sure that I stayed in control. He made sure that I wouldn't spend any more than what I was willing to bring, which back in the day was like 10, 15 quid. And I'd have a good little play in all the arcades wherever I went. I would have a lot of fun doing it. Sometimes I would even play some of the arcade games where, for example, you've got those light gun shooters where you basically have to shoot all the enemies and what have you. Like House of the Dead, for example, or Time Crisis. We used to go up there, and most of the time, it was a lot of fun. Of course, when you pray for rain, you've got to deal with the mud as well. So obviously, during that period, there would be some low points as well, where I'd be like, I haven't won a bloody jackpot, or I haven't even had a good win, like, I don't know, £3 or £4 out of machine or something. But the one thing that always remained consistent is that I did not spend any more than £10 to £15. During near the end of that timeline, it went up to 20, but it never went any higher than that, quite frankly. And I would enjoy myself, and that was basically, it was the epitome of what gambling should be, which is, it should be a fun way. You're basically using that money for entertainment. Sometimes I even brought money back. But I understood that it was there just to go out and have a little fun. That was my granddad's influence. He made sure I didn't spend that money. God rest his soul. I only wish I could have seen Rupert Lowe whilst I was in Great Yarmouth. I'm sure he would have had a significant influence on how we go about things. But maybe one day I will revisit Great Yarmouth. Maybe what I'll do is I will leave my wallet at home. Obviously, let me take a step back. I'll get my card, withdraw like, I don't know, 20, 30 quid or something. Just have a little fun. And maybe what I'll do is I'll leave my wallet and my card at home. And then I'll just take the 20, 30 quid and have another spend up there for all time's sake. Maybe even see if I can find Rupert Lowe. But I'll worry about that as and when. The way I look at this is our country is sinking faster than a Titanic. It is going down the shitter like you would not believe. And the way I see it is we need more good men and women who are willing to stand up, head up to the plate, and be ready to hit that home run. Or my bloody cupboard with the broom. Anyway, it's all about now we've got to stand up for our country. Because I'll tell you right now, there is too much political apathy. Think about it. When a third of the people in Britain don't even want to vote, there's a problem there. That's a very big number of people that are just saying, can't be bothered. I'm all right, Jack. Fuck everyone else. And unfortunately, the cold, bitter truth is, a lot of people are going to suffer that with their families. Their families are basically apathetic. They're too worried about looking after themselves. They're not thinking about what the future holds for their kids, or what some future generation kids are going to go through if we don't do something about it. But I'll tell you right now, we have to start planning for the future. We have to start doing something. We have to stand up and be counted. Remember what I said last time. Find that thing that fuels you. Find that thing that drives you forward. Because right now, it does feel like that Britain is on a deathbed. It does feel like Britain is currently hooked up to all the fucking IVs and blood bags, and it's basically on life support. And why is that? Because of uni-party dictators, or maybe I was right first time, like Keir the traitor Starmer, who want to drive us 6 feet under, who want to ensure that this country is no longer identifiable by its Judeo-Christian heritage. He wants to make sure the only people ruling over this country are those of the so-called religion of peace. It's ironic. Keir the traitor Starmer went on about the far right. And you know what? He is right. There is a problem with the far right. It's just a shame the far right that he mentions is not the actual threat. I know it sounds like I'm being a bit confusing. I'll simplify this a little bit, put it in layman's terms. There is a far right, notice the no air quotes, and that far right is Islam. Think about it. They're the ones pushing for a worldwide caliphate. They're the ones who want to treat women as second-class citizens. They're the ones who want blasphemy against the Prophet and the Allen snack bars to be illegal, to be punishable by death. They are the ones who want to make it so anybody caught in a same-sex relationship gets a free first-class ticket off the top of a high-story building or stoned to death. That doesn't sound like a group of people who want to rule the country in the country's best interests. Do you know what it sounds like? It sounds like fascists. It sounds like hateful people who are intolerant of others. The same thing the left ironically preaches on about, the be kind group, always saying we must be kind to one another, and yet they're the ones supporting this mascot group of the oligarchy that basically wants to see to our demise. Those are the real far right. Not concerned parents and patriots who don't want to see their kids getting violated or worse, stabbed or killed. I hope that simplifies it. That's the way I look at it. Keir the traitor Starmer, even a broken clock has to be right twice a day. It's just a shame the far right he focuses on is not the real threat to this country.